So this is a quick review of Kingdomino, and I'll go over some of the basics on how this game is played. Let's slide that up there. So in this game, you're going to be building kingdoms, domino kingdoms, I guess, and it supports 1 to 4 players. The little example here I'm going to be giving you is for a 4-player game, but I'm only going to show you 1 player's placement of the tiles. So each player will start out with a starting tile, and you can place your castle if you so choose on this starting tile. Now in a 4-player game, you get each player will get 1 of their little king meeples. So here's 1 of each player: pink, blue, green, and yellow. And you will deal out 4 cards, or 4 dominoes. So you deal these things out. Let's put them here. And then you'll arrange them in numerical order, lowest at the top and biggest at the bottom. So here we have 9, 26, 30, and 31. Then you'll flip these over, and players will begin by selecting the dominoes that they want. So you can just say, these people selected this one. Next, you'll put out another set of 4 dominoes and arrange them again in numerical order. So that way. Then flip them all over. And then starting from the player who picked the lowest domino last round, they will choose the domino for this round. So in this case, it's like a lot of high numbers. 40 and up. So, you may just pick this one because you're like, okay. Or maybe a smarter move is to pick this one, try to get 2 crowns, but not sacrifice too much of your turnover. And we'll just go and play domino, play that, and then as you pick them, you'll play these dominoes. So in this case, we're playing the pink player. So I think this was the one they chose, but for the sake of things, let's say they chose this one, and then you have to place it in a legal orientation. So it came out of focus, it looks like. There we go. So a legal orientation here is on your starting tile. It's essentially wild, but only for placement. You can't score through this tile or anything at the end of the game. So this would be legal, this would be legal, this would be legal, etc. So for starting, we can place it like this, and then we'll repeat this. We'll put out 4 new tiles again. So right here, 17, and then we'll flip these over. And then starting with, the first person, they will pick a tile and place this. And then this person will pick, say, like, okay, I want this tile. And then this person may pick that tile and place this tile, which we'll put over here. This guy will place that one. So essentially, we have to figure out a legal placement now for this. Now, something like this wouldn't be legal because at least one of your sides has to match. So with this tile, in this kingdom, you have the only real legal placements are off your starting location. So you could do something like this, or out, or even up. And this game gets more interesting as you get more tiles out. So we'll keep doing this until essentially you get down to your last tile. There's a few other rules for placement. You have to build a 5x5 kingdom. If you go beyond 5, so 5 by 5 would be essentially 2 tiles out. So this would be 5 spaces. And if you go beyond that, because you might just have like one spot where you just didn't think about what was going to come in the future, or you just maybe end up with a tile that just is unplaceable. You lose that tile. So you may lose the points, and you may lose real critical points. So scoring in this game is pretty simple. You basically score the biggest contiguous area of that land type times the number of crowns. So I guess it's kind of Carcassonne for scoring, right? You'll have like a certain number of crowns times a certain number of points. So if we had this, right, this water area would be worth 1, 2, 3 times 2 crowns, so 6 points. And you'll do that for all your areas. Like this one over here doesn't have any, I mean, this isn't a finished area, but this would only be worth, 2 points right now. But if you added more to it, you can really get it. So, there's a few interesting mechanisms going on in this game. I like the fact that it kind of takes a worker placement game and really makes it very simple. The mechanism, essentially it's a worker placement game, but with also some tile laying kind of, maybe Feast of Odin-ish or whatever, with a Carcassonne style scoring mechanism. So I really like the worker placement. I like the fact that, like some other games, the placement of your worker determines your turn order for the next round. So you kind of have to be like, okay, do I really want this tile, or do I take a less good tile and maybe go first and get the tile I really need for my points, or do I take this tile to block someone from getting a tile that I know that they really need for their kingdom? Like, because there's if we look at the back here, there's a limited number of each type of tile, so you can kind of see that certain crown tiles are very limited. So, those are the good things, and also the artwork and the presentation is very good, I think, for essentially $20 MSRP game, but a lot of times you can get it for 15-ish, so which is, I think, really good. As far as the negatives here, so, I played this a number of times. We had fun, but it wasn't a very, deep game. Like, you kind of sit there and you could be like, oh, I'll calculate this out, I'll calculate, what other people are going to do, and kind of pick the least worst option of that, or the best option in some cases. And so, there isn't enough stuff going on to really sit there and say, okay, I'm gonna, have this great strategy. The cards may not come up. There's a lot of randomness in the cards, and it seems like certain strategies, such as going after like forests, or like building as big of a forest as I can and just kind of getting other points other ways, might be superior to other strategies where there's less crowns. Like if you look here, the forest has 6 crowns and it has 16 tiles. So going after a bunch of forests, we've seen that be very effective in a lot of games, just because you have the best odds. It gives you some chances. The other thing is the replayability. I think there's a good amount of interaction between players, but it's not like, okay, I'm gonna bid on something, or even like blocking your move isn't always a huge deal in this. It isn't a lot of like, okay, I absolutely needed that card. Now sometimes it did happen where, especially if you're playing for like the plains or the wasteland, if you don't get those, you are in deep trouble. Like, that's gonna really hurt you to not get those. The third and final problem that we found is the high value cards, the high numbers, are the mines and the wastelands and somewhat the plains. But basically they stick you into last turn order. So if you end up taking one and next round the other, some of your other wasteland or mine cards come out, your strategy could be hosed. And you're also going to have, a maximum number of points there. So they're more of like a auxiliary point thing, where your primary points have to be your plains, water, or forest. So anyway, those are my thoughts. I think it's a good game. I think, a lot of people will like it, but it's not going to be like, okay, I'm going to be playing Kingdomino, 100 times. It's more of like, okay, I'm going to play Kingdomino maybe, as a filler game, or to introduce some friends to, worker placement games, or maybe even just board games would be a good introduction, because it's, quick, not a lot of rules, and it looks good. So thanks. Check out my other videos. I should be posting a lot more board game reviews here in the next few months.